Sarah's conversion, remember I told you it was 1.8, it jumped to 7.2. And that was in 60 days that we worked on this, okay? So that is 300% increase. Crazy pants. That is like crazy pants, a 300% increase. And this was all without changing her offer, without changing her prices, and without increasing any ad spend, just by implementing a funnel system. Have you ever built a funnel and thought, why aren't more people buying? Well, in this episode, we are diving deep into the topic that's costing you thousands in lost revenue right now. And we're going beyond the landing page. Because here's the thing, you've built these beautiful landing pages, you spent some really good money on ads, but the sales just aren't happening at the level that you've expected. Does this all sound familiar? Well, here's the thing. Most of the time, the problem isn't your offer, it isn't your copywriting, and it's probably not even your traffic source. The real issue is your funnel is not complete. Most people think a funnel is just a series of landing pages, but that's like saying a car is just an engine, right? Well, today we are going to reveal the critical components most coaches are missing and how a complete funnel system can transform your conversion rates. Now, stay with me because by the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly why your funnel is leaking leads and exactly how to fix it. So let's start with a big misconception. Now, most coaches and course creators that I talk to believe that a funnel is essentially a landing page that collects emails followed by a thank you page, right? And then maybe like a sales page, right? As you move on to the sales process. Now, if you're nodding your head and you're like, Avi, right? Like, don't worry, you are in good company. Okay. So I literally had a client say the other day, like, okay, we got the landing page built. So we're ready to go. Let's go. Let's launch this. Right. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, you're not even close just because you have those landing pages built. But here's the shocking truth. According to recent industry data, funnels built this way typically convert at just like 1 to 3%. That means that every 100 people who enter your funnel, 97 to 99 of them are leaving without buying. And that is a lot of wasted traffic. So what's the disconnect? Well, the truth anatomy of a high converting funnel is just much more complex. It's an ecosystem of coordinated components that work together to move prospects through a journey. Now, think about this like this, okay? A landing page is just the front door of your business. But what happens after someone walks through that door? Well, think about a physical store, right? They'd be greeted, ask questions about their needs. They're shown relevant products, maybe even followed up with a guided tour to really purchase a decision. Well, your digital funnel needs to do all of this too. This is especially challenging for our online businesses because your offerings are often high ticket and they require more trust building than a simple e-commerce product, right? So the decision to invest in personal or professional development comes with like a higher emotional barriers that people need to overcome, right? I'm sure you've experienced that. So let's break down these critical components that are likely missing from your funnel right now. Okay. So first up are email sequences. Okay. So your email follow-up is not just an afterthought, which is what I see time and time again. Okay. This is actually the lifeblood of your funnel. So when someone opts into, let's say, your lead magnet, that is just the beginning of your relationship. You need a strategic email sequence that nurtures that lead, builds that authority, addresses objections, and guides them towards making a buying decision. Now, most online businesses have made like one welcome email, right? And then they jump right into selling. This is often a big mistake. I'm not saying to never tell people what you have to offer, or, there's some fast action takers. So you do want a little bit of something in that, but versus like buy, buy, buy. Does that make sense? Okay, so big mistake. Research shows that prospects need 7 to 13 touch points before they are ready to buy a high ticket offer. So your email sequence needs to provide that value, tell stories, overcome objections, shift those beliefs, and really build a relationship before asking for the sale. Now, the next component is automation, okay? Automations totally light me up. I used to think like funnel building, exciting. I still get excited by it. Something I'm like very passionate about. I love doing it. I love using the creativity, the functionality, all the things. But I have to say that the automated workflows are my new favorite, right? It's like you don't want to say like which kid is your favorite. So don't tell the funnel buildings, but automation is where the magic happens. A truly effective funnel does not treat everyone the same. I have been talking about this for a couple of years now, and it's all about personalization. And we are here, we are in it. If you are not personalizing your customer journey, you are already behind. Okay. Like before, in the past couple of years, when I was talking about, I was telling you this is what you need to create. Now is the time. And if you are not ahead of that, you are already behind. Okay. So the personalization creates this journey that's personalized based on behavior. So if someone opens your email, let's say about mindset, but ignores the emails about productivity, your system should recognize that and adjust it accordingly. Okay. So with proper automations, or I like to call them automated workflows, when someone let's say when a prospect clicks on a specific link or watches a certain video or spends time on a particular page, then they are tagged or triggered in your system to receive content tailored to those interests. Okay. So this level of personalization can increase conversions by up to 300%, but it's impossible to do all of this manually. All right. So that's where I see the breakdown going, is when people are like, oh, well, I just don't have the time to do this, or I don't know how to do this, or I don't even know where to begin, right? Or, oh, I'll do that later. That's the biggest one I hear. Oh, let's just get this out now, which I agree. Like we shouldn't wait for things. However, they never go back to it. Okay. So what happens with these automated workflows, it starts to lead to segmentation. And this is where different prospects have different needs, different pain points, and different buying timelines. Some are ready to buy right now. Some maybe need more education. Others need more social proof. A one size fits all approach is really where you're leaving money on the table. Okay. So your funnel needs to be segmenting the leads based on that behavior, based on their engagement with you and their interest. Okay. Then they deliver different content and possibly different offers to each segment. So this is how you make every prospect feel like you're speaking directly to their specific situation. Now, if you want a quick sample, I always give this one because it's just easy for me because that's what I used to do. So let's say you have Facebook ads. Okay, I'm just going to take this example. Please listen to it with a mindset of how does your business relate to this? Okay. So as we know with ads, there are different things that people struggle with. So maybe it's the metrics, maybe it's the ad copy, right? Maybe it's the creative, right? Maybe it's even the tech of it. Okay, so that's 4 areas that I can identify that people are struggling with Facebook ads. Okay, and I could probably do this for funnels. I could probably do this for automation. So think about what are those 4 things, let's say, that people are struggling with. So let's say I'm thinking, hey, most people are struggling with their data, right? And so I just give out all this email, all my email sequences are only on data. What are your metrics? How do you improve them? Whatever, right? However, maybe someone is just still stuck in the tech of setting it up, right? Or someone else is like, okay, I got the setup. I know what metrics are. However, I need help with my ad copy. So now what happens? Those other people and those other 3 categories are just going to go and find someone else that will give them or help them with that information, because all my emails or everything that I'm talking about has to do with the metrics. Is this making sense? So even though, let's say I had a course about Facebook ads that talks about all four things as it should, now I'm like, yes, I could help them, but they're only going to get that help if they get in the course. However, if I personalize it and send them on that journey and provide them value and shift their beliefs or, overcome objections for each one of those individually, then the person that is struggling with the tech setup, then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this girl knows what she's talking about. Let me jump in. And then I can also learn these other things. Is this making sense? Okay. So then there's the follow-up system. So the old sales adage says that the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's absolutely true for digital marketing. Only 2% of sales happen on that first contact. The other 98% require follow-up. But it's not just follow-up, right? It's like strategic, multi-channel follow-up. This means coordinating the emails with the text messages. This means retargeting ads, right? This could even mean direct outreach for high ticket offers, meaning you pick up the phone and call, right? It could mean a bunch of different things. So each channel reinforces the other, creating this omnipresence. Okay. So if you ever heard omnipresence and you're like, I think I know what that means, but I'm not sure what that means, that's what that means. Okay. And this omnipresence builds trust and inevitability. Okay. Then finally, you have your analytics integrations. So you simply cannot improve what you don't measure, right? Because what gets measured gets managed, and that's how you make improvements. So every component of your funnel needs to be tracked, measured, and optimized. Which emails are getting opened, which emails are getting clicked, right? Where are people dropping off, whether it be in the email sequence, in your funnel, right? Without this data, you are flying blind. So let me share a quick case study that illustrates this perfectly, okay? So I worked with a mindset coach. Let's just call her Sarah, who was struggling to convert leads into her $2,000 coaching program. Now, she had this beautiful website, a compelling lead magnet about overcoming your limiting beliefs, and was driving decent traffic from her podcast and her social media just organically. She was dabbling, learning ads in there, but she was driving decent traffic, okay? But her conversion rate was stuck at 1.8%. Okay. So that means for every 100 people who downloaded her lead magnet, fewer than two were becoming actual paying clients. So this was frustrating, right? And considering what happened is she got frustrated and she considered lowering her prices just to get more traction, right? Because your mind doesn't go to, oh, maybe I'm not doing something right, or it's not the funnel, it's my offer. Oh, it's too expensive. People will never buy it. Or maybe more people will buy it if I reduce the price, right? That's a common thought. So if you're thinking that, like, you're not alone. So what happens? We analyzed her funnel, right? The problem became very obvious. Her funnel consisted of a lead magnet page, right? A landing page, opt-in page, a thank you page, and then it had a calendar link, right? And then one single email. That was it, right? No nurture sequence, no segmentation, no automation, no multi-channel follow-up or follow-up on one channel, right? So what happened is we implemented a complete funnel system with all the essential components. And here's what we built. We built a 7-part email nurture sequence that addressed the common objections and showcased client success stories. We did some behavioral tagging that identified the pain points that resonated most with each prospect. Then we created an automated follow-up sequence triggered by specific actions or inactions, okay? We added in, not only did she have the emails, but we added in some text reminders for those scheduled calls. And then we set up a retargeting ad sequence that reinforced the email messaging. And then we had all the analytics that showed where the leads were coming from and where they were engaging and when they were dropping off. So we can then pinpoint where in that funnel is the breakdown, where is the leak, right? So the results. Sarah's conversion, remember I told you it was 1.8, it jumped to 7.2. And that was in 60 days that we worked on this, okay? So that is 300% increase. crazy pants. That is like crazy pants, a 300% increase. And this was all without changing her offer, without changing her prices, and without increasing any ad spend, just by implementing a funnel system. Okay. And I want to just talk about increase. Okay. So I talked about 1.8 to 7.2. That's a fairly large jump. You will not believe what a big difference a 1% increase can mean. So when you hear my stats, and if you happen to do this on your own, which I highly encourage you to do, and I'm going to walk you through that in just a minute, just think about if you can increase things by 1% at a time. Okay. So let's say, hey, I'm one person, Michelle. I don't have an agency that I can hire to do this, right? I don't have the resources right now to do that. You can start by implementing probably one or two things on your own right now and already see an increase. Okay. And at $2,000 per client, this meant an additional $10,800 in monthly revenue for Sarah. And the best part is that once the system is set up, it runs automatically, right? Freeing her to really focus on delivering the amazing results that she does for her clients, okay? So, what specific features do you need in your marketing system to achieve results like Sarah? Okay, so let me break that down for you, which are what I consider essential capabilities that you should look for in any comprehensive marketing solution. Okay, whether you use multiple tools or if you have an all-in-one platform. Okay. Now, first, you need a powerful landing page and form builder. Okay, so this is not just about pretty designs. Okay, so I hear this all the time about the pretty designs, and yes, I do like something aesthetically pleasing, but it doesn't need all these fancy images and little elements on your page. It doesn't need all that, okay? It's about the conversion. You want to stay conversion focused and have the layouts, the mobile responsiveness. You want to have the ability for split testing or A/B testing, where you can test those different elements to see what converts best. And your pages need to load quickly and be easy to navigate with very, very clear call to actions, right? Like, just one example that I witnessed just this past week, actually, because I was looking at a couple of funnels that come up because I like to do that in my free time. And some of the buttons were the same color as the branding page. So it didn't pop from the page. Another button was like not an oval shape. Is that an oval shape? Anyway, it had super round corners, like maybe it is oval. I think it's oval. Anyway, some of them were so skinny that I'm like, wait, is this like a design element or is this an actual button, right? Simple things like that make a huge difference. Now, for email marketing, look beyond basic broadcast capabilities, okay? You need a subsystem that supports complex automation rules, behavioral triggers, and detailed subscriber analytics. So your email platform should allow you to create visually appealing emails without coding, right? Because nobody has time to go and learn all that, and really be able to segment your list based on engagement and interest, right? So I'm not just talking about, okay, it's going to tag you. Okay, great. Yes, we want to be tagged, but there's other ways that you can also segment your list, okay? Now, the automation engine is critical. This is what allows you to create those personalized customer journeys that we talked about. And just before I move on, do you have a customer journey? Do you know what that looks like, right? A lot of times you're like, yeah. Do you, right? Have you really mapped that out, saying like in a perfect world, this is the flow that I would like the customer to go on, right? From how they first come in my universe, right? To what are they downloading? What is then that lead into that's going to sell my thing? And then what is that sales process? What is the onboarding process? Because remember, even though I'm all about marketing, the sale does not end in the transaction. It ends in the transformation. So you want to be able to keep this customer journey flowing through that process. So look for a visual workflow builders that let you map this out, right? So I could even map out like if this happens, then this happens, right? You want to be able to map out those if this, then that scenarios without needing a developer. So your automation should be able to trigger based on page visits, maybe email opens or link clicks, maybe form submissions, time delays, things like that. Now, for segmentation, ensure that your system can track behavioral data and create these dynamic segments. So these are not just static lists. They're actually smart groups that update automatically based on how contacts interact with your client, right? So proper segmentations, those tools should allow tagging, scoring, and categorizing contacts based on their engagements and interests. And then your follow-up system. This needs to span on these multiple channels, excuse me. So look for platforms that integrate email with text messaging. Maybe you even want to do some voicemail drops. That's always cool and different because not a lot of people do that. Maybe even direct mail capabilities, depending on what you're looking to do, okay? The key here is coordinating between the different channels. Your system should know if someone responded to an email and adjust the text message follow-up accordingly, okay? And then for analytics, you need more than just open and click rates, right? So look for tools that provide funnel visualization, maybe even conversion path analysis and revenue attribution. And what that means is where is the revenue coming from? Okay. So where are we going to attribute that revenue to come from? Okay. So you should be able to see exactly where leads are dropping off and which marketing activities are generating the highest return on investment. Now, the most valuable feature of all of this is integration, okay? So these components must work together seamlessly. When your landing pages, email system, and automation engine and analytics dashboard all share data automatically, you eliminate the tech headaches, right? That prevent most coaches from implementing complete funnels. And the best way to do this, what is with an all-in-one tool, as they are all basically native to each other, meaning that there's no need to duct tape all these different tools together, like your landing page, like your emails, then your text messages, for example, right? Because then they all have to talk to each other. So what happens is that sometimes that communication, when they're talking, it breaks down. And then it's like, hey, wait a minute. Why didn't people show up for my webinar, right? Oh, the text didn't go out because this didn't happen, right? It didn't talk to each other. I've seen that all the time, which is why I have started OptimaFunnels. It is the ultimate all-in-one tool. That was one of the things that I was super passionate about because you pay so much money for all these tools, right? So if you're like, oh my gosh, I checked into text messaging, it's so much per month, and then it's so much per text message, and then I have the email, and as my email list grows, the cost of that email platform goes up. Those things do happen, which is why I'm suggesting to do an all-in-one platform and see if that works best for you. And if you want to check out OptimaFunnels, definitely go to OptimaFunnels.com and just check it out and see what it does, because the low monthly cost for all the features is on point. Like, you can't get any better than that. Okay. So let's talk about how to implement this for your business. So here's a very simple roadmap to fix your funnel, okay? I don't want to say a broken funnel because we don't know if it's broken, and I'm not saying it's broken. I just want to fix it, improve it, right? Like, think about taking your car, right? I don't know if you all remember, oh, what was it? Pimp My Ride, right? MTV had Pimp My Ride. It was like they took whatever car and they just made it super cool, right? Okay, step one. Audit your current funnel. Identify which one of the critical components that we discussed are missing, right? Or maybe incomplete. And be honest about where the gaps are, okay? So don't beat yourself up. Don't say I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? It's literally like, okay, Michelle talked about these 4 things or these 5 things. Let me look at it. Where is it? What do I not have in there? Or do I only have one email? Do I need to have a sequence in here? Am I not, right? Segmenting, what does that look like? Okay. Step 2, map your ideal customer journey. What happens from the moment that someone discovers you to the moment that they become a client, right? What information do they need? What objections do they need to be overcome? What beliefs do need to be shipped? What stories need to be told? Okay. You might even think of other things. Okay. And then if you want to even go further, move into the customer journey for the customer fulfillment once they become a buyer. Okay. Step 3, build your complete funnel with all of the essential components. Start with the landing pages, then add in your email sequences, your text sequences, set up your automated rules, your segmentation criteria, and then your follow-up systems. Okay. Step 4, test and optimize. Okay. So it's kind of like, you know how when I don't know if you've ever read your shampoo bottle, but it'll say like rinse and repeat. That's what we're doing with marketing. Everything is a big science experiment. So we're always testing, taking the data, review it, and then we are making some little changes to then test it again. And then we're looking to optimize, okay, make it better. So launch your funnel to a small segment of your audience and track those results. And then make those data-driven adjustments based on where people are engaging or dropping off. Step 5, scale with confidence, because now you're going to have the data. Your funnel is going to be converting predictably. You can confidently invest more money in driving traffic, knowing that your system will efficiently convert those leads. And remember what I said about even just the 1% increase, even if it's a 0.5%, as you're doing that testing and tweaking, right? You are making progress in the upscale way. All right. So just keep that in mind. Don't say, oh my gosh, I didn't have a 300% increase. I'm throwing everything away. Take the win for no matter how much you are increasing, okay? Now, this process typically takes about 2 to 4 weeks to implement it fully, depending on the complexity of your offer or how long your customer journey is, okay? The resources required are very minimal, just your time, right, to map out the strategy and the right tools to execute it. Now, one pitfall to avoid: don't try to build everything at once, okay? Unless you are actually going to hire a funnel builder to build this out for you, okay? If you're doing this on your own, whether it be you by yourself or your team, don't try to build everything at once, okay? And even if you do hire an agency to help you with that and help you map it all out, then maybe what you do is you work in phases, okay? So then that way you're like given that timeline because you're having somebody help you build, and then you can just stay focused on, creating what you actually want and then hand it off to them to build it, okay? So if you're building it by yourself, just think about, start with the core components, your landing page, right? That initial email sequence and a basic automation. Then add the complexity as you go, because progress definitely beats perfection every single time, right? The opportunity here is massive. So while most of your competitors are still stuck on just the landing page is the funnel, like let's launch it, if they're in that mindset, you now have the blueprint for building a complete, highly converting marketing system, right? A funnel system. All right, thank you so much for listening today. Until next time, let's grow your business together.